We live. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good evening, wherever you are. It is Monday. It's the 4-4 portal, and I think I have something important. I don't know. I've got something brewing. It's been brewing for a little bit, for a couple weeks now. I'm just going to jump in because I am finding that I have to start to. I'm still processing what this message is for us. I feel like it's important. I don't know if I don't want to be like it's big and nothing dramatic, but I think it's really important for this whole process. We are now in that process of not waiting, but in that holding pattern, and it feels like we're waiting to see this transformation happen that we've been working on, that we've been anticipating, that we have been learning about, that we've been integrating to. Like, there's been so many different parts of this whole ascension process that we have been dealing with in our own experiences. So we've had these parts of us that are still working and have been working through densities to clear our systems. Our bodies, our physical bodies, have been transmuting the carbon-based foundation of our body over to the crystalline, so we can take in those higher frequencies. We've also been understanding how our communication is working with higher intelligence, with our higher selves, how we're mastering. We are not mastering. We had a whole conversation about that the other day on our Ascension Bank call. We are fine-tuning our skills of communication. We're then taking that communication and translating it. The communication comes in energy, right? It comes in however you receive energy in your highest and best good. So do you get messages? Do you are you writing? Are you how are you downloading, right? How are you communicating? Telepathically is pretty much how it comes over, but we've never really been trained on that. So we've been trying to learn that. So there's been all of these pieces that we have been putting together, piecing together, following the energies that we've been doing on this daily tune in, and kind of putting all of this together to try to understand what this really is looking like, and how do we bring in this 5D earth? How do we start seeing it in our realities? How do we start creating it? And we have been creating it in consciousness alone. So I'm not really sure how today's message is going to unfold, because I'm still kind of confused with what it really is. But I feel like there's some parts that I've written out that I feel like I want to read to you rather than try to bring it to life, because the words came out from as I received them. But here's the overall message that I'm getting. We are in a 4-4 portal now that opens up. And this portal is where the physical 5D realities of what we are putting together individually and collectively we are going to start seeing those realities come together in our life. So all of the pieces, what I feel like is happening is not all of them, but a lot of the pieces are going to start coming in. We will start to see opportunities. We'll start to see people. Well, however this reality is going to unfold, it's going to unfold in our individual lives. Because remember, everything started within, in our consciousness, in our emotional intelligence. We've been working on that. We started to feel more. Then we all came to a point collectively where we almost felt collectively like, there's something happening. And we know with the energies that something's happening. And now in this 90, it's going to be 90 days, which there's so much significance to that. So I'm going to pause on this 90 days piece too and break it down a little bit as well. And I want you to, I'm asking you to pay attention here, because at the end of this, not at the end, but soon enough here, you're going to have an invitation to participate in this 90 days with me. This is not a paid thing. This is a collective thing. This is an energetic thing, and this is a call. This is really a call to all of you, to those of us who have been pioneering this whole ascension process, to those of us who have been tuning into it, to those of us who have put our time, attention, and committed to this process. Now it is time for the next step of this, and that is creating this reality in the physical form. And we have 90 days to get a really good head start on that. And we have 90 days to be fully, not that we're not going to be supported, but this 90 days, the intention of this 90 days is to be fully supported in creating the next reality. Now, for some of you, the next reality may not look all that different, but it may feel different. I'm going to get into that. So, this, I don't know if this is um, helping us lead up to a physical split of the two consciousnesses or the two worlds. There's a possibility of that, but I don't know for sure yet. I haven't gotten full confirmation on that. But either way, these next 3 months, starting with today's portal, April, May, and June, is when we are in the cultivation of the blooming and the harvesting of everything that we have created in consciousness up until this point. Okay. This is the spring. We're going into the summer then. And that is when we harvest. That's when, like the summer is when everything's in bloom and we harvest all of that stuff. This is when we are now in this 90 days going to be putting together the physical reality of this 5D earth. Okay. I don't really know. I'm not understanding this entirely, but just bear with me, and I'm going to explain how this is going to work as best I can, because I'm literally in this with you. I am to participate with this 90 days. So it's also coinciding, which I think is quite magical, with the Ascension Incubator that Mary and I have just put together our first group. And this is starting this week as well. So I think there's something in here for us to integrate with the direction and with the support and the guidance we're going to be getting for these 90 days here on the daily tune in, but then taking them into the incubator. So for those of you who are, the 5 of you that are participating in that, I think this is going to be really interesting, because I know what I'm called to be developing in those 90 days for me personally, which I believe is just going to help all of us develop whatever is being asked of this 90 days. So I'm going to read real quick what came over. And I will try to make sense of it. It's kind of like, all over the place, as I was like, oh, wait, that's not what you're saying. Hold on. And then meaning when I was tuning into my team, would take me back, be like, no, come back here a second. This is what we mean by that. Okay. So, dear one, here's the invitation. Okay. You are cordially invited to a human experiment never undertaken on your planet before. This human experiment is fully supported by the universal law of one, which states that all individuals residing in the universe are sovereign beings imbued with the natural law of the karmic order. All beings have the free will, so you get to choose whether or not you participate in this, is basically what they're saying. All beings have the free will to choose their path and agree to be paid in return with an equally resonant frequency to the consciousness of your choice. The consciousness of the being determines the payment from the universal law of one. This experiment is open to all who willingly wish to experiment with ushering in the new earth in physical reality starting in the next 90 days. Here's the hypothesis. Here's the experiment. Okay, utilizing the atmospheric energies at hand, which is what we do here in the daily tune-in. So what I'm getting from this, is this platform for the next 90 days is going to be us being trained and guided through this 90-day process, which is almost like a 90-day portal from where we are, the last remaining parts of us that are still in that 3D in that real physical reality and moving into that fully anchored in physical reality 5D. Okay, so here's the hypothesis. um, Utilizing the atmospheric energies at hand with the daily guidance of Leo, the galactic team, we will assist you in ushering in a new Earth reality in your life in 90 days. That reality may look different or not, but it is one of peace, abundance, creativity, and health, all integrating seamlessly, that brings home back to life. It brings the life back to your home. So, and then there's one more thing that they said about home. It's bringing you back home to your soulful existence. So, many of us here, the other thing that I was getting this morning as I was pulling this in, many of us have this idea of what our 5D life will look like, right? We've intentionalized it, we've visualized it, we've kind of seen different things, but we really have zero idea of what this is because we have nothing to go on. So, this is part of the 90 days as well. Okay. So, remember, like what we have in our minds is what we have constructed based on what we already know life to be. So we aren't really understanding entirely in human form what it means to live a 5D life and what that means to be fully integrated. We can imagine and we think that's really cool. But what I believe this 90 days is going to be is really taking a deep dive into that. So the methodology is going to be this. So the daily transmissions will come on the daily tune-ins and daily transmissions of consciousness discussed then on the daily tune-in. These transmissions will include, this is for you, okay? Like this is for you and our community. I think this is just those of us on here, we are being asked to say yes or no to this invitation, and we are one of the parties in it, on the ground here that is going to start to create this reality in physical form. Okay, these transmissions will include all codes, frequencies, and instructions to follow each day. Your consciousness will expand daily as we work to clear you of any preconceived notions of what your 5D intention will look like. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'm like, oh, you're going to take that away? Then we will expand your mind to be able to embody what you actually see in your 5D reality. You must be stretched to be able to fit into that reality. So we may have to blow your mind a little. But don't worry, we won't take you further than you can handle. And we are going to keep these 90 days rather generic so more of you can participate if you so choose. So what I got from that, I asked for clarity on that because I'm like, what does that exactly mean? And it's going to be like you are going to be working towards what you know with your team, what you are going to be working towards, your unique expression of this 5D reality. So it's going to be just kind of stated in generic terms as we work towards these 90 days or work through these 90 days. We realize that human experiments are required to be given at free will according to the rule of sovereignty in the universal law of one, and we uphold this law. You can choose to take part in this 90-day experiment in consciousness to ascend into your soul integrated lifestyle. If you are willing to join the ranks of pioneers who have been intentionalizing the energetic consciousness grid of New Earth by now, building the physical reality of it, then this invitation is for you. So let me just kind of read that again, not really read it again. But what we've been doing so far, here's how I understand this. What we've been doing so far is creating that energetic grid. We've been doing that for years and years and years. You've been doing it before you even knew about this whole ascension thing. I've been doing it. We, as light workers sent here during this time, have been creating that brand new energetic grid of consciousness around that 5D expression of Earth. Okay, that has been completed. That is ready to go. Now what happens is we then start anchoring in that energy into the physical form. So that's when now we start building it. whatever that means, but let's keep going. We, which is Leo, are ready to be the council that supports the troops, so to speak, on the ground to transverse the physical portal of 90 days to finally see that reality we speak of. Like, really see it, is what they said. um, as you consider whether or not to participate in this experiment, know that there are only two ways that this can go. Worst case scenario of this 90 days is it leads nowhere, which is now here. So basically, you don't get anything out of it, and you land basically where you are right now. So if you're okay with that, great. That's worst case scenario. You're not going to be any worse off. Best case scenario is, because again, I don't know what this 90 days is going to partake. I have had to accept the invitation myself, and I also have had to commit to being with these messages, being the transcriber of these messages every single day, Monday through Friday, for the next 90 days, and to partake in whatever is these instructions, whatever this guidance takes us. And I have said yes to that already, which is why I'm delivering this message to you, because I'm inviting you to come along with me. Best case scenario is you can join for the 90 days with a community, and you don't even have to do anything to join. You just show up here every Monday, like, or every weekday, like you already are. So there's nothing special. There's no registration. There is one thing that you have to do, but we'll talk about that. That's not going to take you very, very long. Experience with a community who all have a vested interest in supporting your reality to be here in 90 days. So all of us have a vested interest in successfully supporting you, because as a community comes together in consciousness, we know where two or more are gathered, there I am. And when all of us are vested in this specific 90-day experiment of a message, and we embody that message however it comes, and then of course we are going to take this even further in the Ascension Bank in our calls for members, and then even deeper with our Ascension Incubator members. So you will have, like, we will do this here every day, and then for Ascension Bank members and then incubator members, we will go even deeper into this. But we have a vested interest in supporting you on this journey. Again, I don't know what this is going to be. I don't think it's going to be a very cut and dry, like step 1, step 2, step 3. My team doesn't work that way. It's a very convoluted, sometimes mystical, and sometimes a little bit frustrating of guidance that we get. And also knowing that consciousness works in a very different way. When we start to create from consciousness, the journey there is much different. I have found that it's more like the story of I don't know, where is this? There's somewhere there's some kind of lily that when how it expands in a pond, right? The lily will just, like, little stems will shoot up, and for it takes a month for the pond to go completely bare of any lilies to completely covered with these lilies. And the first, like, 25 days, you see nothing. You just see little things sprouting up here and there. But it's in the last few days of the month that all of a sudden then everything blooms and the whole pond is filled with the lilies. Kind of like also the bamboo growth thing, where, bamboo just, it grows like a teeny tiny bit every 6 months or something, until it gets to a certain place, and then all of a sudden it shoots up. But the waiting is the hardest part. So I believe that this 90 days is going to be really interesting of an experiment in consciousness, because I think a lot of it's going to be more of a consciousness thing until then we get to the doing part. So there might be some doing in here, but for the most part, we are going to tune into the consciousness. We are going to tune into unpacking some things that we have been taught, I'm gathering, both in the spiritual world as well as our, the 3D physical world, that have not been completely accurate, bringing that back to a truthful statement, and then working from there to build the consciousness. I know it sounds a little bit convoluted because it feels like that to me, but I also really, the other feeling that I get, and I trust my feelings because they typically come they come true. I know that for a fact. What I'm feeling is there's something big in this 90 days for us. There is something really pivotal. There is something for us to experience together. So, all you have to do if you would like to participate in this, and I know it's kind of like participating is something like, I guess I'll participate. I don't know. It can't be bad. It can't be bad. It can only get better and better and better. But I know for what I'm working towards in my own personal 3 months, this is something that is it feels rather pivotal to the direction of my highest timeline. So I know that when it feels like that, it feels like something that I really need to pay attention to. I have been getting the nudge of this 90 days. 90 days I mentioned last week has always been a really pivotal time frame where a lot can get done in consciousness in 90 days, and then that consciousness carries throughout the rest of the year. And since we are in that time frame of blooming and cultivating and harvesting, this is the time of year. I believe putting our attention for 90 days on what we are harvesting is a really important thing. So if you want to do this with me, all you have to do is just in the comments on here, just put I am, because our I am presences are going to come together as a community, support each other in and doing the individual work that needs to be done for these next 90 days. And when we all come together in this consciousness as a collective, we start to create some really, really powerful energy that expands up into that grid that we've already put in place. And then that starts to spread all throughout, and that becomes a big torus of energy. So this community here is being asked to experiment, to trust this process in consciousness, to be led by beings of, galactic beings of a higher order. In the highest frequencies of love or above, we will only be led in love. We will only be led in through our own heart space. We will connect in, and we're going to explore what this invitation really means. So it sounds kind of fun to me, and it sounds like a lot of work too, like, because I know just bringing these messages in, but it's not much different than what we're doing here. But it's going to be a little bit more pinpointed and focused, along with how we can take the focused guidance that we get and use the energies that we're in each given day, and we're going to use that to our advantage to create something. So sounds pretty cool. I don't know, I've been confused all day. I'm like, I don't even know how to really give this invitation, but what I am hoping and what I am intending with my own communication and translating these messages is that they come through clearer and clearer, so that I can explain better on this. So I just ask for your patience for today, and just kind of trust me that, like, I think you kind of want to do this, but you got free will. And at the same time, I'm still clarifying and what's being asked of me as well. But tomorrow we're gonna keep going on this, and somewhere in here I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, but somewhere in here, there's a conversation around contracts. And contracts, we talk a lot about soul contracts, what we have come into this lifetime to experience and to learn, and how we're going to grow and evolve in our soul's evolution. We had a soul contract. There's something about that contract maybe coming into our physical reality in some way. So I think there's something there that's marinating, that I'm feeling is coming up, and I have some evidence of that as well. So all of that to say, I think this could be a really pivotal piece of this split that we have been creating in consciousness. We've been feeling in consciousness. We've been feeling in energetically, and now I think this 90 days is like the real physical part of it. This is the part that I'm gathering. It's not going to be as much. It's going to be a lot of consciousness, but it's going to be opening our consciousness so that we can see a reality completely different from how we thought we were going to see it. And what that means is having our minds blown with what we are seeing, and allowing ourselves to be able to expand from the intentions that we have been setting. And all of that, those downloads maybe that you've been getting, I know a lot of us have been just trying to piece things together, getting these little hints of understanding and wisdom, and everything's like pew, pew, all these fireworks of new understanding are coming in. I also think a lot of that is when this 90 days is when a lot of that settles into a puzzle that's been, these puzzle pieces will start to settle down, so you can start to then see the reality that you have been creating in consciousness and in your astral travels at night when you're sleeping. If you're waking up exhausted, it's because you've been traveling around, you've been creating this world that we are talking about in consciousness. And your consciousness has been working overnight in that while your physical body sleeps. And now our physical body, I believe, is going to start to be experiencing what it has been experiencing simply in consciousness. Something kind of cool. So let's see what you guys, I'm going to take a sip of water. Let me make sure I don't have anything else. The other thing too is I want to read this actually. A reminder for us. Okay. It's kind of what I was saying with the whole lily pad analogy is, remember that creation of reality is not about the doing. It must be created in consciousness first. So these 90 days will challenge everything you know about creating your reality in the 3D physical realm, like we've been taught. Okay. You will be asked to be patient with this process and trust it fully, because it's not going to look like anything you expect it to look like, which makes me be like, what's it going to look like? Because y'all, I have no clue on this. I don't know what's coming tomorrow. So this is just as new for me as it is for you. Raising consciousness is 80% of the creative process. The doing is only 20%. Remember the 80-20 rule in marketing and everything you've ever learned? 80% of this 90 days is going to be mostly consciousness work. The other 20% will be the doing piece, which will look uniquely different for each of us, because remember, it's going to be generic, but we'll each have our own highest timeline that we are anchoring into in this physical reality. So our doing is going to look very different. Together we will be our way. Together we will be our way to unusually high levels of disbelief in what is happening, not because it's bad, but because it's good. So unusually high levels of disbelief. I was like, ooh, that means surprise is like, that's the words that they're putting a couple words into it, but we're going to be surprised is what I'm feeling. So whatever this is, it sounds fun. So I'm going to stop talking about it. Hello all. Is anyone else getting ads before Badette comes on? This just started for me today. That's because I'm now eligible to have monetary ads on my thing. So, oh, I'm glad you said that, Carly, actually. So I'm going to test it out. If I can get a couple bucks from YouTube, okay. But if it becomes a distraction, you have to let me know, because I don't get that. I don't get it all on my end. I am testing that out. So Carly, I'm glad you said that. So let's see. I don't know how it all works. I know nothing about the YouTube monetization thing, and you know how I feel about YouTube, but I'm like, who wants to give me money? I'll take some money from YouTube. But if it takes any other energy because it is frustrating and something, then just let me know. Christine, had a healing sleep last night and I feel so good today. Oh, good. Thank you. That this 90-day experiment sounds so beautiful. Wonderful. Let's go. Thank you. It does. Like, I feel like it is like it's been behind here. It's been kind of like rumbling in the back, like 90 days. There's something for you guys to do for 90 days, April, May, and June. And I thought it was the 90-day incubator. But it was still back there. Like after we got that all situated and we got all of our 5 people, and then all this, it was still like, there's something else. So this is something that we can all do together. And I think it's kind of fun because it's the first time I've ever offered to do anything with a group of people that I didn't have bullet points and deliverables and all the things. And this is a fully an experiment, and it is for me as well to participate in. So I like that I don't know what this really is, but it feels important. I can already feel the group energy for this. So uplifting and beautiful. I agree, Carly. Just shows up how collective love and compassion are so connected. Yeah. I had a dream last night that drones showed up globally and overlaid our current view with a new one. Maybe a nod to a new Earth view. That's interesting, Jessica. Yeah. It almost feels to me like with just how they like I mean, a couple of times in all of the words that I wrote out, there was in there was they alluded to you're gonna have your mind blown. And I was like, this is kind of exciting, but a little bit I'm a little bit nervous. What does this really mean? But it's something to that effect of like how you said overlaid our current view with a new one. There's something kind of sci-fi-y to this. Like I think we're going to be led down a different kind of view of reality. So it I don't know. There's something resonating with what you dreamt, Jessica. So something like that. Home Within says, oh, we watched the full advert and you gain from that. So don't skip. Let it run before Vedette starts. It's a small amount to wait to give an energy exchange back for her time. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. So yeah, so let that thing play through. I'm just curious. Let's all just be curious and see what YouTube advertising really is. I've heard all kinds of things. I've heard some people like I don't get anything, and some people are like I make millions, and I'm like I don't know what to believe with that. So let's just see what it does. It'll just be interesting. Um, so yeah, kind of like a little bit of a scattered message. I apologize for that. But I'm, again, still making sense of it. And I think it'll make more sense for me to kind of piece together enough to be able to talk a little bit more eloquently every day. But for now, I'm having fun with wondering what the hell this is going to be. So if you're interested, I know you are. Like this is for you all. I know it. Like this is for all of us because we have been here for how many months being prepared for this time, and it just so happens it like the timing of it comes up on the 4/4 portal, and we've just been groomed with all of that energy since February and March. We've had all of these solar storms. We know we're being prepared for something. So as that is still working its way through, we still have some more, couple more coronal mass injections that need to come through. I haven't seen anything else come through as far as solar flares or anything like that. So I don't know if we're going to get a little bit of a break this week or if there'll be some more. Either way, we got a good old cleansing. We are clear and we are primed to start to cultivate some harvests. But we've got to have things bloom first. And that's what we're going to be supported and guided through in these 90 days. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks for telling me about the ads and living through those if they work for you. And if you would like to support the platform and make sure we're here in three more months, you can always send a beautiful love donation to my PayPal or buy me a coffee. It is how I support myself. This is my only means, and I'm here to not only help you out, support you all, but also show you that I'm on this journey with you, and I'm going to partake in this experiment and have a really good time because this contract thing that I'm going to unveil to you or reveal to you is pretty exciting, and I think it has something to do with these 90 days. So you also have a contract, and I think there's something for me to help you reveal that for yourself so you know what we might be working towards in this 90 days, something like that. So just stay tuned, be here, share this experiment, because the more people that partake in it, the more people that are at least taking a step forward into a higher dimensional reality, a higher expression of life. And when more people do that, we then change it for the collective. You see where we're going here. This can only be a good thing because it's coming from a place of love. And it is how I believe the opposite expression of this 3D world that's dismantling, and we're watching it dismantle now in the physical reality. There's also the opposite expression of that happening, and there is a building, there is a creation of the systems of the world, of lifestyles, of there's a whole complete rebuild of everything going on over here, and each of us has a piece in that. And it's time now for us to be quietly over here in these next 90 days doing our work to bring our individual piece of the 5D reality into the physical reality, while this world still, while they still pull away. This is the pulling away period, and we have to choose. This invitation not only is for you to participate, but participation means you completely tune out of this world. All right. Hunter Biden's, like all the things, keep up with it. Just you cannot get fully taken into that energetically, because it will restrict what you are able to create in these 90 days. This is when our split happens and we put our full vision on this next 90 days and what can be created. And you let this world, if you're willing, you allow it to simply go quiet in your world now. Okay, it's not our world anymore. And I always say that to Pepe when he tries to go through the trash and get food. I'm like, it's not your world anymore. You chose to be in a higher reality. You chose to be a human dog. Therefore, we give you human, like we literally give our dogs, like dog food, but roasts up vegetables and makes rice. Like he does all the things. So that is not his reality anymore. He has chosen to be a human family. So there's some things we have to leave behind. And the things that we're being asked to leave behind is the dramas that are playing out in this 3D world. We can watch it if you can keep yourself out of the drama of it. The drama meaning the fear, drama meaning the anxiety, drama meaning the ego saying, I told you all so. It just has to be quieted now so that this space and time in this 90 days, this is where we create the space of the 5D reality, the soul reality, the integrated reality. Okay. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for participating. We'll see where the hell we go tomorrow. And I think it's going to be kind of like heaven, but I don't know. But I know that I plan on moving towards heaven in these next 90 days. So I hope you join me there as well. See you all tomorrow. Have a good one.